Hi, everybody. Welcome to a special episode of Too Opinionated. Today we have actor Ben Koldyke, or as some would like to say, Ben Koldyke. How are you today?
There it is. There it is.
Why?
It happens.
Welcome, Ben, I guess.
I can take it, man. I can take it. I got a weird last name. You know what? I could have changed it. You know how most actors do that? They come up with something sexy. Not me. I kept my very weird, strange name, and people mispronounce it constantly. And your son's interpretation, Koldyke, is nothing new. No. That's a pretty common one that I get out in the world. So it's all good.
You know, it sounds like
for the record, my dick is not cool. Okay. I mean, sometimes, you know.
Yeah. It's a. All right.
I think it sounds like a gumshoe detective show that I might watch. Koldyke.
The Koldyke Files. Right?
I'd watch that.
I think you'd have to put me in a wheelchair, and then we'd have a show.
Well, I have to admit that's the only time I've come across that name. So you're unique.
I love it. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a first.
Because
it usually is a first for people. So
yeah, ours is Wall, and wherever.
Yeah, I know that's pretty straightforward.
Yep. Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, besides the Washington Wizards shooting guard, I forget his name.
John Wall. John
Wall. That's the
I
only
think
Wall
actually
I've
he
ever
may
known.
even have an S on his.
No, he might. That's true.
We weren't good enough for the S.
No, you guys weren't. You're just a wall.
That's high class. We didn't qualify.
But together we make a corner, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, the story is that we had the S, and somewhere back there, my grandfather dropped it.
Huh.
You know, so I don't know.
He hasn't found the sense.
I think wall is stronger.
Yeah, there you go.
Walls just sounds like a fucking hallway, but
That's
a
right.
wall.
Thanks, man.
Build that wall. I heard that a lot,
dude. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know.
Well, Ben, thank you so much for joining us today. This is a big one for us. We're really excited to have you, but I know you got into acting kind of later in life.
Yep.
Could you tell us a little bit about what got you into it?
You bet. I was a teacher and a football coach back in Chicago, and I did that for a number of years. And as I taught, I started to gravitate toward the dramatics and plays and things like that. And I took my classes to see a bunch of plays in Chicago at the Steppenwolf and at the Goodman Theater.
Yeah.
And I just started to think, man, I bet I could do that. I'm watching these guys up there, and I bet I can do that. So after I think my 29th birthday, I said, you know what? I'm going to switch. I don't want to. I thought I wanted to be a football coach for a career. That was really why I got into it. But the football coaching was, I liked it for a couple of years. That was it. But I kept teaching because I loved it. But I started to just something inside. I started gravitating toward it. I took a summer and took a class at the Second City, famously Chicago's comedic center. And it was like 101. Stand there like a tree. Really basic stuff, but I loved it. And I said, I think I want to try this. So I moved out to California, and I taught at the KIPP school in Inglewood while I studied acting and writing at night. And that took me about 5 years up until 2009. And then I got my first break, and knock on wood, I've been working ever since. But
well, I'd read something that you got some help from the guy from Sunny in Philadelphia.
Help. That guy made my career. So the deal was I was getting to the point, it was, 4 years into this teaching and studying acting, I started to feel like maybe my time was up and maybe this just wasn't a realistic thing. But I did, all the while, I made short films. I wrote, directed, and acted in a bunch of short films.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I was at the Rose Cafe in Venice, California, and I happened to have a DVD in my backpack of my latest short film. And Rob McElhenney and Caitlin Olsen, his wife, or his now wife, they weren't married at the time, they came in for breakfast, and I just said, you know what? I'm going to walk over there and give him my goddamn DVD. So I just, I did that thing where you're the annoying guy in the restaurant. He said, hey, man, I just want to say I love your stuff. Da-da-da, here's my thing. Now, I had done that about 40,000 times before to other people, and no one got back to me. Nothing. And I just started to think, well, maybe it's just not that funny. But Rob McElhenney, to his infinite credit, he called me back a couple days later and he said, hey, these are pretty funny. We should meet. So he and I spent the better part of the next 6 months trying to figure out a way for me to get a job.
Yeah.
They looked for me to get a staff writing job because they liked the script. But nothing coalesced. We couldn't figure out a way to make it happen. And then Rob and his partners, Charlie Day and what's his name? I always forget his name. Glenn Howerton. Yeah. The guys on Sunny. They sold a pilot to 20th Century Fox, pretty high profile pilot, about it was sort of a Star Trek spoof, which at the time was an original idea.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And they couldn't find their lead actor for the life of them. And so super late in the game, Rob called me on the phone. He said, hey, man, how about we try the acting angle? I said, okay, let's try that. We already tried the writing. So I went into 20th Century Fox. I didn't have a headshot. I didn't have an agent. I didn't have anything. And I went in there and read for it. And they were liking what I was doing. And I think I went back, and I'm not kidding you, probably 8 times to Fox. The rooms kept getting bigger with, more important people, but they couldn't quite get their head around casting as the lead in their pilot someone who'd never worked before.
Right. That doesn't happen a lot.
No, so it just kept going, and finally, amazingly, I got the part. And so I was, suddenly I was on a soundstage with Tony Hale, Oliver Platt, all these big league comedic guys, and I was the lead. I was the captain of the ship, and it was like a dream. Unfortunately, the show didn't get picked up. Frankly, I think it was too funny for network television. But I had created enough momentum. There was an article on me in the Hollywood Reporter, like, who is this guy coming? So I kept working, and awesome. I've been doing it ever since. But yeah, Rob McElhenney was central in my break. I mean, he was the whole reason I got it. So I'm indebted to him forever.
Yeah, we talked to a lot of actors, and a lot of them have it. They've had either a fortuitous meeting with someone, or they've known someone, and that's kind of how they got started. Otherwise, it's a struggle.
It's a struggle, and you know what? And a lot of guys. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. You got to credit people for having a network, but there's just so much of that. If it's not family, then it's friends or people you went to school with, or da-da-da. So as an outsider, and also an older outsider, it was just tough to crack the nut. You just couldn't get in the door. You had to do something like I did, which is to embarrass yourself and hand over a DVD at a frickin' cafe.
I'm kind of hoping that this is my big break. That talking to you right now.
Hey, man, let's make it happen. I gotta pay it. I gotta pay it forward somehow. So
good to I'll call you.
Send me your short films or your films. I want to see. You're in films. You're in film school, right?
He's got a short film.
Yeah, I made one 10-minute movie.
Hey, man, you know what? That's all it takes. That's all mine was.
Yeah, but tell him the idea, Brett, because it's awesome.
Yeah, it's about 2 friends making a shelf, and one of the friends gets glued or nailed to the shelf, and he can't get away from it, so he has to find out how to live as a shelf.
Yeah. It's funny. He eventually just gives up, and you see him at the end. He's just a shelf in his friend's house.
He's just a shelf in his friend's house. That's all. I love the challenge. I love the challenge to the protagonist. How can he adjust to life as a shelf? That's the trailer of the movie. You can just see it, right?
It's good. That's why I keep telling him it's funny.
And you shot it, right? You shot it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, perfect. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
There's there's no it's no, I don't know what's the word, Brad.
It's a silent film. Yeah.
No dialogue. Silent film. I couldn't get it out.
Yeah. That's even more. I'll tell you something that's impressive for people that can do that. I'm in the sort of talky comedy world. So all my stuff was pretty damn talky. But when I see stuff without, any dialogue, it's a real challenge to the filmmaker to tell a story out of that. So good on you for doing that. It's cool.
Thanks.
It's not easy.
So you, well, first of all, can you find that? Is that pilot out there somewhere? Can you watch it?
You know what? I'd have to call David Hornsby or Mac and see if it's out there somewhere. I don't have it.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
It's funny, man. It's funny. It's just,
I'm a big Trek fan, so that I'd enjoy that.
Oh, you'd really love it then, because it was all about that stuff.
Yeah, I think I enjoy it. So you've done a couple of shows that are in Brett's wheelhouse for his favorites. So you want to ask him about those, Brett?
Yeah, I do. So when I saw your picture come up, I was like, I cannot place this guy. And then yeah. And then Dad was like, well, The Good Place. No, I figured it out. Never mind. It was The Good Place, but I didn't feel right. And then I figured out today you were Don on How I Met Your Mother.
Yep.
And gosh, how old? That's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I
good.
played Don.
Yeah.
The guy who didn't wear pants when he ran.
Yeah. So I think I was maybe 12 when that came out, around that age, and that was my favorite show. I watched it.
It's a good show.
And so this is kind of a big deal for me. So screw
Oh,
Good
I
Place,
love
How I
it.
Met Your Mother.
I love it. I love it.
Well, I think my favorite episode on that one was the one where they were trying to decide if you were a rabbit or a duck.
Or a duck. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Because you did the naked move.
I did. I sure did.
How was that like?
That's a dangerous game. It's a dangerous game. Because they really put you, I don't even know what they call these things, but it ain't a jock strap. It's a whole lot less than that. And if you're moving around in front of 100 crew members and other actors and your dick is about to fall out of your, I mean, it's pretty nerve-wracking, man. It's not the best. And, Kobe Smulders, who I had a massive crush on my entire life, she's sitting there and I'm going, oh man, this could end very, very badly. But luckily, the engineering worked, and I never had to expose myself, which was a real blessing.
Out of curiosity, when you were naked like that and in your jock strip, we'll call it, in that moment, were you Ben Koldyke?
No, but I'll tell you something. My older brother, who was always a little dubious about what I was doing, was kind of like, what the hell? Are you going out to Hollywood? I don't know, Hollywood. He's a Chicago businessman, grassroots, no BS. So finally, I started working, and he said, all right, I'm going to have to come out there and see what you do. That's fine. So it turns out the day he came to the set was the day I was naked. And he showed up on the soundstage, and I was sitting on the couch all by myself, naked except for my little, whatever you call that thing that was holding my package. And my brother just stopped in his tracks and looked at me and stared. He said, well, so this is what you're doing now, right? This is your new career, sitting on a couch naked in front of 150 people? It was quite funny, and I was quite ashamed. But he came around to like it. He turned out he liked the show, and he likes what I do, so it worked out for the better.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So you were on the Good Place, and we love that character in the final season.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't you think that somebody needs to actually make a film out of the fictional book from the show that you were supposed to have written?
Dude, have you seen it? Because those writers, they actually wrote the book.
Well, that's what I wondered. I haven't seen it.
They wrote the book, and it's the funniest god darn thing you've ever read in your life. And the answer to your question is a resounding yes.
Yes. I have the name down here somewhere. It's let's see, 6 Feet Under Par, a Chip Driver Mystery.
Chip Driver Mystery. That's right. I'm very proud of that book, by the way.
Oh, hilarious.
It was a real accomplishment.
Where'd he go,
Sorry,
bro?
I had a phone call.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, that's a good picture that pops up.
He just failed. So what was I saying? Lines like, Chip Driver would come upon a crime scene, and they'd have the outline of the body in the chalk, and his comment is, "Wow, nice curves." So that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? You haven't seen that character in a while. So
that character had to be fun to play.
A joy. I mean, I'll tell you something though. It's funny. At the outset, the character read in the script just a little too much, a little too harsh, a little too angry, a little too this. So it took a little work with directors and things to kind of find the balance between his I don't know what you call it, far right wing sort of belief system, and those that are acceptable in Hollywood. So it took a second, but we found it. You know, second or third episode in, it started to make sense to me, at least as an actor. And so he wasn't so unlikable. He was actually kind of funny.
Right.
And it just, that once I got over that hump, and then it was just downhill from there. It was just a joy to play that guy, because all this other cast members were perfect foils for him.
Right.
I mean, you know, from Tahani to Kristen to Kirby Hal Baptiste and all these, it was just, this guy sat in the middle of all this, and he was the perfect asshole.
Yeah.
So
Sorry,
can I swear on your podcast? I have a bad.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
now.
Yeah. Hey, Brett's our editor, so if he doesn't like it, he'll just bleep it.
Just let me know, Brett.
No, it's fine.
But
it had to be fun playing with that cast, and I mean, you know, and Ted Danson was on that show. I mean, that's
my hero. So, one of the things I did when I was in college was come out to LA. This was kind of my first blush, and we saw an episode of Cheers taped.
Yeah.
And
oh
man,
wow, that's my favorite show.
I watched Ted Danson work behind that bar, and I said, I want to do that. Not bartend, but I want to be like that. So that was the first kind of, and then that sort of faded away. I didn't pursue the arts in college. I was too busy playing sports. So I didn't come around till I turned almost 30, but that's where the seeds, I think, were laid, because I watched him do that job, and I said, that's perfect. That's what I want to do. So, and that guy could not be a nicer guy. He is so down to earth. He has every reason to be not a very nice person, but he just doesn't do it. He's just a class act.
Yeah, I've always heard that.
Frankly, the whole cast is. I mean, Kristen Bell is just a force and a wonderful person. Darcy Carden is great. Jamil is great. I mean, it was just a really super pleasant experience. Yeah, good cast. Great cast, actually.
Yeah, we've loved Kristen Bell since Veronica Mars. She's good in that.
She's incredible. I mean, I don't know how she does it, man. That girl's raising like 3 kids, I think, and she's shooting 2 shows, and I mean, it's wild. But my hat's off to her in a big way. She does a really good job. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I remembered you from was Big Love. You had that that was a tough role, and it was kind of sad there at the end, because your character, spoilers.
You mean when I hung myself?
He ends up hanging himself at the end.
I love that it's kind of sad.
It's kind of sad. What? And that was such a talk about a good cast. That was a good show.
Well, I'll tell you something.
Well, it used to be sad. Yeah, it used to be sad, but then you're a dick on The Good Place, and now it's kind of sad.
So now it's kind of funny. Yeah. But that was my first dramatic effort ever. Yeah.
Well, you did a great job.
I was awfully nervous in that, but I'll tell you something about good people and good cast members. Bill Paxton, R.I.P. Bill Paxton.
Yeah, of course.
Dude, that guy carried me. I mean, he just carried me, because I was kind of freaking out, going, man, I've never done this shit. I'm a comic,
Right.
But he was right there for me. He said, he gave me every bit of confidence, and we pulled it off. I didn't quite pull off the man-on-man kiss. I wasn't quite prepared for that action.
Yeah. It came across fine.
It came across okay. That's what I think. But during it was like hell on wheels. But so what?
Sure.
You live and learn.
Yeah.
But
you don't normally play those kind of dramatic roles, but that was impressive.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm hoping to do more of that. As I get older, those are going to be more of the roles that are available to me. And I had a wonderful time doing Big Love, and I also did a show called Masters of Sex.
Yes.
On Showtime, which was also
Lizzie
dramatic.
Kaplan.
You bet. And I loved it. I loved the experience working with Michael Sheen and Lizzie and Caitlin Fitzgerald was a dream. And I dig the drama. So
yeah, I'd forgotten about that one, but yeah, you were really good on that one too. You've had a kind of a I don't know what you call it. Some, I guess it's hard work or good luck, but you've ended up on a lot of really strong shows.
I got very lucky. My resume is, I can't explain it. I cannot explain it. It's not my doing. It's not some creative engineering on my part. I just got lucky, flat out lucky.
Yeah.
Found good shows and booked the parts. And I'm just blessed with that, because that's my calling card now. And if they look at my resume now, there's some respect there.
That's right.
Because
that's right.
all those shows are damn good.
Yeah, well, I saw you you actually got to play a coach on what's the show? Carol's what is that? I was like, is that the easiest role you've ever played?
Yeah, that kind of role, like it's yeah, you just go in there and you phone it in. But again, I didn't want to do it. My agent was like, just do it, get in with CBS, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I kind of, again, it's one of those things where I was kind of tripped. I just, I don't know if I want to do it. It doesn't. But that cast, it's always the case. They make it okay.
Yeah.
And I turned out to have a blast. Patricia Heaton. Patricia Heaton.
Yeah.
Not unlike Kristen Bell, in that she's just a great leader.
Yeah.
And she makes everybody feel at home and makes for a really lively and fun set. So turned out I didn't mind doing it at all.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Hey, I meant to ask you a couple minutes ago, but so was the tape that you turned in, was that the Jedi tape?
It sure was. How did you know that?
I watched it today. That thing is hilarious.
That's the one, man. I made 4 over the years that I was studying acting at the Playhouse. But that one really jumped, and that was the one that I gave to Rob. And then he asked for my 3 other ones. Which were also, to me, they were, but I'm biased. They were pretty damn funny.
Well, Jedi Jim I loved it, and Darth Vader at the end of it, hilarious.
Well,
I was not expecting that.
Well, the reason, and this is a good lesson for you, Brett, in terms of IPs and getting out and finding out about it. I read an article in Wired magazine about a gym in New York City, Manhattan, where members of the gym dress up as Star Wars characters, and they go train in sword fighting and all this stuff. And I said, that's too weird. So I found out the guy's name, and I called him in New York City, and I said, hey, my name's Ben. I'm a actor, writer guy. I'm interested in what you're up to. And he got so defensive. He said, I know what you're doing. I know you think it's ridiculous and you think it's funny and stupid, but I'm serious. And right when he started saying that, I said, oh, I'm on to something here now.
Yeah.
This might be the show. So he went on to berate me and say, you can't do that to people. You can't make fun of people that are trying to get better. Da, 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 da. These people are embodying the characters. They're trying to learn about themselves. And I said, this is it. I'm that guy. So I had to play him. From talking to him. I had to do it. And the whole Darth Vader thing was just because the guy took it so seriously that he would have been in awe if Darth Vader showed up.
Right.
But then he'd be dead.
He'd be dead. Well, and I love the thing after where he's talking about trying to learn to live with, without the use of his arm.
Yeah, and suddenly, and then he's Harry Potter.
Yeah, he comes back as Harry Potter. That was really good. Yeah, it's on YouTube. So
it is, and we crossed 1 million, I think. And same with you should look up Osama bin Laden Behind the Madness. That's my other one that's on YouTube.
I saw that on there, and I was like, I don't know what that is, but I didn't click on it, but I will. I'll go back and watch.
Check that out. That one also gave me some momentum. Rob loved that one too, so it's kind of what put me over the top.
Yeah, that's some funny stuff. See, that's what you need to be doing, Brett. Come on.
I'm sure that's a very politically correct one.
Oh, let me tell you, yeah. I didn't, and by the way, I made that in 2002. So
wow.
When I started showing it to people, especially people east of the Mississippi, they're like, no, that ain't funny, man.
Too soon.
I said, just give it 6 months. Pretend it's 6 months later. But no, they weren't hearing it, so. But it
Well, that's
eventually,
what you got to do. You got to take chances.
you got to take chances, man. It's no doubt. And one thing I've done to my discredit, and I'm just now getting back into it, is once I started working as an actor, I kind of stopped, creating on my own. I figured I'm just working. I'm getting paid a lot of money. It's great. Why write? Why do all that stuff? That's the worst mistake you can make. You should always be writing, always be creating, no matter what your professional situation is, no matter how much success you have. If you're going to do it, and Brett, for you, like, you just got to keep throwing stuff on the canvas all the time. I regret it. I mean, I regret these last, God, it's been almost 10 years now of working, but I just haven't done anything on the writing side. And I forgot basically that my break didn't come from auditions and acting and looking pretty and all that. My break came from a short film that I made. So I got to honor that a bit and get back to that. And that's what I'm kind of doing now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah.
Did you write that down, Brett?
No, I archived.
I'll save it for you.
Thanks, man. I mean, it's recording, Dad.
Yeah, I'm still
There
learning
you go.
this technology.
It's recording, Dad.
Am I using the Zoom right?
Yeah.
No, I want you to know you're so lame.
Well, the one other one I wanted to ask you about was, and I think this was a kind of an underrated show, but you were on that Mr. Robinson show. And I thought that was a pretty funny show. Like, when I saw the clips before it came out, I was like, that's going to be a funny show. And it was from The Office, guys.
Well, pretty much anything that Craig does is funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I could watch Craig Robinson brush his teeth and I'm laughing. He's just naturally, he emanates humor. I thought that we got a little bit screwed, on the network side on that one. We wanted to do, because I was involved in the writer's room building up to so I was able to kind of sit in there and listen. I didn't contribute except an idea here and there, but we had some good ideas about it, but we never quite got their ear. And even the writers, this is when you're in trouble, when even the writers on the shoot day are kind of like, But it certainly had its moments. I mean, it was kind of funny, but I think it could have been a lot more funny if they let us kind of do what we wanted to do. But that's always, artists always say that, they always say they didn't quite get to do what they wanted to do. So it's a bit of a cliche, but in that case, it was actually true.
Yeah. Yeah. It just seemed like that show had a lot of potential. I thought that was kind of
it did.
Opportunity there.
I agree with that completely. 100%.
Yeah.
I just looked it up. I remember what it is.
Yeah, I figured it's probably been five years ago.
Oh yeah, it was a while ago. Yep.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. Well, Ben, you were a quarterback.
I was
in high school. Did you play in college?
I did. I played at Dartmouth College for 4 years. Suffered injuries most of those years, and I ended up my senior year. I didn't get the job, but I was close. And then our starter had some physical stuff going on, so I had to start the opening game against the University of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And I got concussed early in the second quarter, and it was a major one. It wasn't a small one. I was smelling salts in the whole nine. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know who I was. But interestingly, they put me back in the game because back then there was no concussion protocol at all.
That's exactly right.
And had I known, because if you go back in a game with a bruise on your brain, if you hit that bruise again, it's not good. So, but I didn't know that at the time. Sort of ignorance is bliss, I guess. I went back in the game, and I had kind of a rocky start, a little nervous, throwing up some bad balls, not reading right. But after I was concussed, I threw 3 darts, got a first down.
Got rid of the nerves.
So for me as an athlete, I was better without my mind. Which, that was a real lesson for me.
All instinct.
Then after that series, I came out and started asking some really strange questions to people, like, where are we?
Right. Yeah. So Brett was a football player, and he had a similar thing happen to him.
Did you get concussed, Brett?
Yeah. So freshman year, I played football my whole middle school, and then freshman year of high school, I got a concussion. They took me out of school.
Yeah, he missed his whole freshman year. It was, and we think that's what happened, that he got a minor concussion and we didn't know. And
Yep,
then
sure.
he got hit again, and it was pretty severe.
Well, what they're learning now, and the NFL is finally beginning to accept, is that, when you see stars or when you've, quote, had your bell rung, those are concussions. They're just not major concussions. So it's a really scary thing, because you can get hit, it, Brett, playing. I mean, I used to get hit all the time, and I feel dizzy for a second, a little wobbly, then I get back in the huddle and I'm okay. But your brain is compromised, and it's just frightening now. I mean, it's really tough. I'm actually writing a script about. I donated my brain to the Legacy Foundation, which is Chris Nowinski's outfit out of Boston. They're the ones that have really pioneered this whole, awareness of CTE. And I'm writing a book about a quarterback back in 2007, back when no one knew what this was, trying to figure out why his life was falling apart and his marriage was falling apart, and he was turning into an asshole, but he couldn't figure out why. It's because there was no name for that disease at that time. And countless guys, countless NFL players or college players have lived out that nightmare where they just didn't. They turned into a different person.
Yeah.
Depression, anger, irritability, forgetfulness, all that stuff just can hammer someone's life. And I feel for those guys, man.
Oh, yeah. What was that? Oh, sure, Ben. I will be in it. Yeah. Oh.
Are you? Hey, Brett. Are you a performer too?
Yeah, I do.
Beautiful. Oh, you're a triple threat then. Good.
I'm amazing. Yeah.
I tell you, he's pretty. He is pretty amazing. I'm biased, but he writes, and he's talented at it, and the short films.
Excellent.
And he's working on the acting. And when he was concussed, he was a big boy. He was playing on the line, and he couldn't do anything for months, and he kind of took it on himself to drop the weight and get himself straightened out and healthy.
Yeah. I was 300 pounds. I dropped 130.
Yeah.
That was my.
You were 300 pounds, man?
Yeah.
All muscle.
Oh. Yeah.
Where did they have you? I'm assuming you were an offensive tackle or a guard?
Tackle. Yeah. I was tackle.
Left or right?
I think I was both. They traded me back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got caught under the chin by somebody rushing in.
That's not true.
That's the thing. It doesn't even take that. It can be just a little, a little hit to your head. Doesn't matter. The brain is so vulnerable,
Well, what was funny is we finally sent him back to school, and he kept having things happen where he banged his head. It was just, we were nervous wrecks.
Yeah.
Like what? Brett.
I came back to school and somebody smashed an apple against my head. It gave me another concussion.
Yeah, it was the first couple years after that were rough.
Real asshole.
You gotta watch out. You gotta watch out for those apple smashing people. I've never heard of that, but yeah, that's a dangerous game.
We're the freaking apple smashers, so don't.
Yeah,
it's what we do.
Well, hey Ben, thank you so much. This has been great. We really appreciate you.
Oh man,
hanging out with us.
I'll do it anytime. You guys are a blast. I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, well, before you go, can you tell us what you're working on and where people can find you?
Well, right now, you can only find me in reruns because everything has shut down.
That's right.
I was sitting on an offer to do a Netflix movie about the college admission scandal. That whole thing at USC.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a go project, and we were going to shoot about now. Late April, early May. And then this happened, and so that's it. That would have been my answer, is that I'm shooting a thing about the college admission thing. But right now, literally, I'm doing a program called Writers Boot Camp, which is based in LA, and I'm working on that CTE script. And that's the long and short of it.
Well, yeah, I've got you an actor right here.
Love it.
When it's ready, just call him up.
Stay in touch, guys. Stay in touch.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you need another guest, you let me know. I'll do it in a heartbeat.
Oh, thank you so much. Do you have a website or a page that people can find you at?
Just IMDb. I go with the IMDb. I don't have a personal webpage, but IMDb tells the story, and my agent's on there, and you can reach me all that way. So
yeah, great. Well,
Awesome.
thank you so much. It's been a blast.
You bet, guys.
Thank you.
Take care, Brett. Keep writing. Brett,
Yeah.
keep writing. Okay.
All right, I will. I'll pull it up right now.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
See
thank
you guys.
Thank you,
See ya.
sir. Good talking with you. What do you think of that, Brett?
Well, probably did pretty good. We nailed that.
Oh, he was awesome. He's a really nice guy. I knew he was going to be too.
Oh, hey, we're still recording.
Yeah, we're still recording.
Yeah, I forgot about that part.
I thought you might want to say what a great guy he was.
Yeah, that was a big one for me. That was.
I'm
Thank you.
sweating. I gotta take my drink.
Yeah, I'm sweating too. It's hot in here. Thanks for letting me come on this one, Dad.
What do you mean letting you? I tried to get you to do all of these, but I knew you'd want to do this one. He's
Yeah,
such a great
this
guy.
was a lot of fun for me. When you told me he was on How I Met Your Mother, that got me.
Oh my gosh, I've been watching those all day.
Yeah, I
just wanted to remind myself. I know we watched all of them when they were
when I
on.
was watching Good Place, I knew I recognized him. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was big.
Yeah, that was great and just a lot of fun.
And I think he loved me.
Oh, I think he loved you. You better send him your little short.
Yeah, sure. All right, let's get out of here.
Hey, if you don't do it, I'm gonna have to.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Hey, yeah, we got another one coming up, so make sure you get the right one and come back.
Yeah, sure. All right. See you soon.
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.